Hello everyone, welcome to the class. And in this class we are going to practice, or we are going to learn punctuation. Okay, so in the last class we discussed semicolon and colon. This is a continued class on punctuation, and in this class we are going to learn some usages of parentheses. Okay, can you hear me? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Minal, can you read the text on the screen? Yes. Read first two pages.
Yes, sir. Parentheses. Parentheses are used to enclose non-essential or supplemental information in a sentence. Parentheses are always used in pairs. You must have both an opening and closing parenthesis. In formal academic writing, it is a good practice to use parentheses sparingly. Before including parentheses, check to see if they are essential. Could the information in parentheses be included as a subordinating clause surrounded with commas? Could the information in parentheses be a standalone sentence? If parentheses are needed, keep the following rules in mind.
Okay, so remember that parentheses are used to enclose non-essential or supplemental information. Okay, any information that is not essential, or if it is supplemental, okay, it is some extra information. Okay, then we would use the parentheses. Okay, so before you put information into parentheses, you have to see if that information is non-essential or some extra or supplemental information. Okay, then you will put that information in parentheses. If you find any information that is not something important, okay, that is something that shouldn't be in parentheses, meaning it is not, it is essential. Okay, so then you can take that information and put it in the main text. Okay, in a standalone sentence or in any other way, using some clauses. Okay, so let's see some of the rules. If you have to use parentheses, you have to use non-essential information in that. Okay, so when you have non-essential information, following rules should be kept in mind. Okay, so Bilal, can you read the first rule? Okay, read up to the first paragraph here.
So, when the words in parentheses form a complete sentence and place a period inside the closing parenthesis.
So read this whole text. Use start from the first line.
Okay,
Yes.
sir. Use parentheses around non-essential information or abrupt changes in thought. When the words in parentheses form a complete sentence, place a period inside the closing parenthesis. No personal phone calls are allowed on company times.
Okay. Also read the information in parentheses.
Refer to the policy manual.
Okay. Now, if we see at this sentence has information in parentheses, and if we look at the information in the parentheses, we would come to know that this information is not that important. Okay, this is something supplemental. This is something extra. Okay, and remember that once you have a complete sentence, okay, see, remember here, when the words in parentheses form a complete sentence, place a period inside the closing parenthesis. Okay, this is a complete sentence, and then this is a punctuation. Okay, this is a period, it is within the parentheses. Okay, inside the parentheses when you have the complete sentence. Okay, Bilal, can you read further? Yes.
Yes, sir.
You read.
When the words in parentheses are not a complete sentence, place the period outside the closing parenthesis. The meeting will be held next year in March.
Okay, so this is self-explanatory. Okay, as you read, as you heard that once, when the words in the parentheses are not complete sentence. Okay, so if the sentence you are going to put in parentheses is not a complete sentence, then what you would have to do, you will have to place the period outside the closing parentheses. Okay, so for example, the meeting will be held next year. Now this is something information, non-essential information. We put it in parentheses, and it's not a complete sentence. That's why we put the period, okay, after the parentheses. Okay, Bilal, read further.
Always place commas, semicolons, and colons outside the closing parentheses. The task consists of filling out paperwork, including HR documents, setting up your email account, and getting a photo ID.
Okay, now this is very important rule. Always place commas, semicolons, and colons outside the closing parentheses. Okay, so see here that once you have any information in the parentheses and your sentence is continuing, okay, you are using comma or semicolons, okay, so they would go after the parentheses. Okay, so you wouldn't put these punctuation marks, commas, semicolons, or colons in the parentheses. Okay, now Muzammil Fatma, can you read
So
the?
can you repeat this thing?
Yes, Muzammil Fatma, can you read the
So can
second?
you repeat the third point?
Acha, okay, this one. So see here, let me read this to you. Always place commas, semicolons, and colons outside the closing parentheses. Okay, so here you see a comma. Okay, so this is not in the parentheses. So once you have commas or semicolons or colons, you have to put them outside the closing parentheses, meaning not within this information. Okay, within these closing parentheses. Okay, so you have to put these commas, colons, okay, semicolons outside these parentheses. Okay, Muzammil Fatma, can you read the second rule? Yes.
If the information in parentheses requires a question mark or an exclamation mark, use the mark inside the parentheses only if the sentence ends with a different mark.
Okay, Muzammil Fatma, your mic has any problem? It's making a strange sound. So let me give chance to Nisa Batul. Can you read, please, Nisa Batul? Read this whole rule number 2.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
If the information in parentheses requires a question mark or an exclamation mark, use the mark inside the parentheses only if the sentence ends with a different mark. Richard Bender, remember him, stopped by to see me yesterday. Second one is, do you remember Richard? Think you can remember back that far from the bank.
Okay. Nisa Batul, go ahead and explain this to us, the rule that you just read. Can you explain this to us? Yes, meaning the way I explain.
Sir, it's saying like Sir, it's saying that if in the parentheses there is a question or an exclamation mark, you can use that inside the parentheses only when the sentence ends with another punctuation mark.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So see, here we have another punctuation mark. Okay, our sentence ends here, but here we have a non-essential information, and it's a kind of question. So we can put here, okay, a question, okay, mark, and we can also end our sentence here. Okay, so see, there is This also option that if the information in parentheses requires a question mark or exclamation mark, use the mark inside the parentheses. Okay, remember here you would have to use it here. Okay, exclamation mark or question mark. Only if the sentence ends with a different mark. Now the second sentence here, okay, it ends with okay, the question mark, meaning there is not the this is the same punctuation mark. Okay, here it was another punctuation mark. Okay, are you getting? For example, if this sentence had ended with a question mark, then we wouldn't have maybe used the here this question mark. Okay, so here the rule says only if the sentence ends with a different punctuation mark. Okay, so this one ends with a different one, so that's why there is a question mark here, but this is ending with the question mark, so we are not using here. We can't use here the question mark here. Okay, so this rule is about question mark and exclamation mark. Okay, so see this, got it? Things would be maybe difficult at this point, but since these are some new rules for you, okay, so as we go further, you would understand better. Okay, so what is the third rule? Who would like to read?
So may I?
Yes, please go on.
Use parentheses to clarify preceding words. Next week we will study the hydrologic cycle, also known as the water cycle.
Okay, Bilal, explain this. What is the rule saying?
That means we have to use the parentheses to explain the words that are given outside the that are given in the sentence.
Okay, good. So see, sometimes when you have any word and you want to explain it, okay, you want to clarify its meaning or you want to give some further information, so you can give that within the parentheses. Okay, good. These rules are self-explanatory. Okay, let's move on to the fourth one. I'll read the fourth one too. Raise your hands, those of you who are waiting for the chance to read. Give me a signal by raising your hand, okay? So for now, Bilal, go on. Read the fourth one.
Use parentheses for references or documentation of resources. 50 contracts were issued this year. See table 1. Number second, the US leads the world in internet use, Leslie 89.
Okay, explain.
Can you explain this? I'm not understanding.
Okay, now sometimes when you are giving references or documentation, okay, of sources, meaning if you have, this is related with maybe reports and research papers. So once you are writing something and you are keeping there as source, meaning for example 50 contracts were issued this year. Now this is something information, okay. Now you want to tell us where this information is given somewhere in any book or in some where this information is given. So see within the parentheses, see table 1, meaning within that see table 1 there is this information. Okay, so once you want to give references or documentation of sources, then you would give that in the parentheses. Okay, for example, the US leads the world in internet use. Now this is a kind of maybe a claim or something. Where this claim is, that source has been given here. Okay, Leslie 89. Okay, 89. So maybe that is a research paper, maybe that is any book or that is any article. In that article, this information was given. Meaning you are giving reference to this claim, okay, to this statement that this was somewhere here, okay, in that book or in that article or in that paper, okay. How many have you got this? Let me put it in other words. For example, if you are giving any information, okay, if you are writing any essay or something, and you are telling, for example, if you are saying that what is the number of coronavirus victims today, okay, and maybe you read it somewhere. Where did you read this? Okay, so maybe you would write that number of the patients, okay, and then in parentheses you would tell the source. Where did you read that? Was that on any website? Was that in any newspaper? Or was that information, somewhere in any article? Okay. So that info source, if you want to give, okay, then you would put it in parentheses. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So let me ask Tanzil to read the fifth one. Yes, Tanzil, can you read the fifth one? Okay, Bilal, you go on. Nisa, but would you read it?
Use
Okay, okay. Okay, go on, Bilal, go on.
use parentheses around an every abbreviation or an acronym when it is used with the spelled out word. Please submit the student aid report. SAR.
Okay. So can you explain what is the rule?
That means we also use parentheses to write short form of the words.
Okay, okay. So see, for example, a student aid report. Okay, maybe that we can make an acronym. Acronym meaning we can take the first letters of these words and make an acronym, make an abbreviation. Okay, so SAR. So when you want to put short forms or abbreviations or acronyms, you can give that after the full spelled out words, okay, and then you can put that information in the parentheses. For example, if you are writing in any say, for example, if you are writing your information somewhere, IPA Community College, okay, IB Community College, Khairpur. If you're writing it on any address or something, okay, so first you spell out the words, meaning you write the complete words, and then in parentheses you can write IPACCK. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who would like to read other rules? How much time is there?
9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay, we can maybe cover two more. Okay, so please you go on. Who told me the time? Was the Nisa? Nisa, please go on. Yes.
Yes. Rule number 6. Use parentheses in a horizontal list of items but uses either words or numbers. I need 3 items from the store. 1 apple, 2 bread, and 3 milk. The following information must be included: A name, B address, and C driver's license number.
Okay, can you explain this? Though it's self-explanatory, we understand
Sir,
it.
it's like when we're making a horizontal list of things, we can write their numbers in the parentheses.
Okay, good. So either you have letters or the numbers when they are in horizontal, list. Okay, when you are forming a horizontal list of items, meaning on the same line, if you are continuing, you are putting information in a horizontal form, then you can use the numbers and use the parentheses. You can also use the letters. In next sentence, there are letters. Okay. So read the seventh one.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes. Okay.
Sir, we can also write like this without using parentheses. Like 1 apple, 2 bread, 3 milk. So we can also like write without parentheses. So why we are using here
Now see, punctuations have different usages, and they are some punctuations like parentheses. They are very dynamic, so they can be used, in different ways. So this is a kind of, rule. Or there maybe this is some, way how people write items. So if you don't want to use this, then maybe you can use period. I have seen many people use periods. Give the number one and write the, put the period. Okay, but I haven't seen periods with letters. Okay, so for example in MCQs in exam you see that mostly letters are given parentheses, and then A, B, C, D options are given. Okay, but those are not in horizontal form. Okay, but here it says that put them in a horizontal form and then use the parentheses. Okay, so I don't know actually, maybe it would be either against the rules of some stylistic thing. Okay, maybe. Okay, so you can put if you want to, but maybe once you're writing any research paper or something, then you have to follow some certain rules. Okay, for example there is a Chicago manual style, in that everything they tell you how you can put on the paper. Okay, so if your paper goes against the punctuation rules or something, then you would have to go according to the rules. Okay, so this is these are rules that we have to follow. Okay, so let's read the rule number
Okay, sir.
7. Okay, Minal, go ahead. Nisabatul, go ahead. Yes.
Rule number 7. Capitalize the first word in parentheses if it is a proper noun or the beginning of a complete sentence. Verify all items, check the boxes. Call the assistant Robert Dick at noon.
Okay, so see, once you have complete sentences, then you would capitalize the first letter. Okay, here you see the capitalized first letter, and once you have proper nouns, then you would also capitalize. Okay, can you read the rule number 8?
Sure, sir. Use parentheses around numerals used with a spelled out number. I have $90 left for my paycheck.
Okay, now see, as we already learned that information within the parentheses is non-essential. Okay, so for example, if you have a spelled out number, like in this sentence 90, and you want to clarify or you want to give some extra information, okay, then you, for example, extra information is what is that 90 in number. Okay, if you want to give number digits, okay, and if you want to give some extra information, then you can put that in parentheses. Okay, read the last one. Okay, then it's the end of the rules. Yes.
Use parentheses for minor subdivisions and alphanumeric outlines.
Okay. Now see, Bilal, this is maybe about your confusion. Okay, maybe this is what you really asked. Okay. Now see here, as I told you that I have seen many times these. Okay. Now actually this is what you asked me. Okay. Here you see that you can also use periods. Okay. But you said that you want to use just number without any punctuation. So maybe as I told you that you can give punctuation. Okay. Period. Or maybe you can give the parentheses. Okay, so see, these are different ways how you can write. Okay, you can arrange information. Okay, so everyone, that's it for today. This is what we learned. Okay, all of these rules are important. They will help you understand parentheses better. Okay, any questions if you have, or if you want to do a little more research, then write in Google, okay, usages of parentheses. Okay, so some research can be done on, our own. So these are some things that, I told you, but maybe if you have time, if you want to dive into more details, you can search on the internet. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much.